and think about it using common sense. Um, Today, I want to talk about Black lives don't matter. Uh, I was shocked to hear that another Black individual's life was taken by a police officer. And Black man, from what I understand, was unarmed. And that's why this is something that really has to be addressed because Black lives do not matter. And people can say what they want, and based on what is happening, over a month ago, we saw these 5 Black men. They took the life of this Black man, beat him to death. And it's showing that the life of people of color, regardless, does not have the value that other people's lives have. And the action speaks for itself. Because it seems to me that every and any and all uh, efforts should be taken to spare or to keep from taking an individual's life. You'll go to the, excuse me, my eye itch. Um, we go to the, if an accident happened on the street with somebody's life or lives are in danger, right away they get to them as fast as they can. They give them the necessary treatment to keep them alive, to get to a hospital, but it seems like when it comes to people of color, they don't think. I mean, they don't care. They just shoot first and check later, or they just beat someone to death like it's nothing. And this is the realization of it. Black lives do not matter, and it even comes to not even so much as just lives being taken by police officers, and not all. I'm not saying all police officers are bad, but it comes to I have never seen, if it's happened, please make me aware of it, that the treatment that people of color get is different from the treatment that Caucasians get, different from the treatment that Asians get, even though Asians get treatment less than Caucasians or white people get. But it's when it comes to preserving life, black people get the they're on the lowest totem pole. They get the treatment, shoot first, ask questions later. They just beat them up for the sake of it, like it's an enjoyment or whatever it is. But it's wrong. All life, all life should be held to the highest. Should go through everything you possibly can do before you take a person's life. But it doesn't happen. People can talk all they want to talk. What it is what it is. It does not happen. White people totally treated differently. I have never seen, I could never even imagine 5 police officers beating a white boy to death like that. These police officers, they do not shoot down white people like that. They don't. And the thing about it is, I agree that even though blacks have a reputation of being uh, violent or carrying guns and stuff like that, but guess what? They don't make guns, and I'm not making excuses, but there's reasons for everything. And this isn't something that just happened. This is has something that has been instilled in people of color, even against themselves, as you saw with the black police officers beat this black boy to death for no reason. Or if there was a reason, there was no reason to beat him to death. It wasn't worth taking his life over. And something, this mess has got to stop. We keep talking about this, and people say, "Oh, we want to see some justice." Is not seeing justice. Well, seeing justice is one thing, but justice is to stop this. The same thing with this, uh, all this crime and stuff that you see in politics. People have got to be held accountable, and they have got to be punished to the full extent of the law for breaking the crime if they're found guilty. That on the news today, they're talking about uh, Trump's son-in-law got $2 billion from the Saudis, and they said, "Well, if you in government, you can't do this, you can't do." Well, if you can't do it, then what's the penalty for doing it? If you broke the law, then you get punished based on the crime that you committed. You don't just push something off and off and off and off, and that's the problem. Anybody else could not get away with that. But because you have money, because you're in a high position, that gives you a green card when it comes to committing crimes and not doing time. Then who cares? Then what's to prevent people from doing that? Nothing. You talk about George Santos, you talk about what he did. Everybody know what this man has done. But where is he? He's in office. He got sworn into office. I don't understand it. But then you're gonna talk, well, we have to. Well, what's the problem here? But this is the problem. Then we complain about why things are the way they are. It's just not. If this is the way it's going to be, for the rich, to break the law and get away with it, then guess what? Then let others get away with it. Let the middle class, let the low income, let them also get away with it. If this is how it's going to be, and you can't do that. You'll take a person that's committing middle class, low income, poor, wherever classification you want to put these people, commit uh, a little welfare fraud, a little Medicare, Medicaid fraud for a few $100s. You want to lock them up. I read somewhere 3 or 4 weeks ago, these three dentists, millions, millions, millions of dollars for the government. You know what I'm saying? You hear about people and that's in charge of nonprofits, stealing money for themselves, for their families, for their friends, stealing it from poor people that really need it. That's the crime. And then you wonder why these people are the way they are. Help them. If people are in poverty, help them. You don't help them by just giving them a check when they do need it, which is a little help. But if you want to help them, teach them how to fish. Give them a good education. Steer them in the way of the future. Steer them to jobs that's going to be available in the future. Help these children. Put them in an environment to show them, to let them feel the difference of the other side if you really wanted to help. But I find that it seems to me that is so much money that's being made off the back of the poor and the low income and middle class one and two. And the reason why I say middle class one and two, because the middle class today is not like the middle class of yesterday. And the way the future is going, and I talk about this all the time, and I talk about it all the time because it stays in the forefront. The future is not being made for the poor and the low income. And a few of them, maybe middle class one and two, can slip through, maybe. You got to have money, people. You have got to have some money. You got to have some money, or you're going to have to be in a position to own something as a group where you can control and not let the uh, developers, the money people come in and buy up everything. And that's what's being done. That's what's being done. Because at the end of the day, only the strong is going to survive. And that's what's happening. Electrical cars, electric cars, high rent, the age of technology, engineering field, aerodynamics. They're talking about going to outer space. That's another horizon. So as they move forward into the future, that's change. And change always brings about uh, hardships and pain for those who have not prepared or those who are unprepared. You can talk about it all you want. People, you have to start doing something. If if you have time. Because looking at the world and the way things are with the earthquakes and things are flying in outer space, you're looking at the wars that's happening, you're looking at water pollution, you're looking at uh, climate uh, problems with the uh, uh, water, problems with the ocean, the planet is heating up. We are in trouble. We are really in trouble. You know, and it may be too late to even do anything about it because, like I said before, you cannot go back and refreeze holes. And when something is happening, you never hear about it. You never hear about it until it's on you. And it's, it's something to think about when you really trying to go into outer space when you have a planet. You know? All that money is being spent in outer space. To me, seems to me should be spent on trying to clean up the earth. We have a lot of stuff. I mean, I can understand maybe you can dump some of this nuclear waste and take some of this waste and shoot it up into outer space somewhere, possible. But is this planet so far gone that it wouldn't make a difference? That could very well be the case because a 7.8 uh, earthquake on the Richter scale, that's huge. I think I did a little research on it, and it says that amounts to about 40 atomic bombs on Hiroshima. That's a lot of energy, people. That's a lot of energy. Now, who knows what caused that? Who knows where the next earthquake is going to hit? What if one hit this 10.8 on the Richter scale? Good. What's to stop it from happening? We have got to start, just being considerate of others and being considerate of the planet. We just can't do stuff because we need it and we see we can make so much money. So we can see we can move us into the future and this at what price? Is progress if the end results is the destruction of humanity and the planet in which we live? Is that progress? We need to stop and think about this. And just because someone has money, you know, doesn't give him all this knowledge that people think he have about uh, taking us into the future. No, it doesn't. We need to stop giving people all this credit. Our lives and the lives of our children and the lives of the children's children is at risk here. And history tells us that there was a civilization or civilizations before us. What happened to them? It seems as though we learn nothing. Nothing. What is the what is it that gives us such a dire need that we have to move at record speed, 3,500 miles an hour? What is that? At what price does it cost us to go that fast? We need to think, people. And we haven't been. We haven't been thinking about the repercussions. I don't know if the oil is in the earth, is that to cool? Is that to keep the earth cool as it spins? You know, who knows? I don't know, but it's sure enough isn't in there to fuel automobiles and stuff. When we take it out, is it being replaced with anything? Uh, and all the oil that's being burned, taken out that we use, and it's changed the form and put back into the environment in whatever way, shape, fashion, or form, be it plastics or whatever. What is the damage it's doing to humans? What's the damage it's doing to the planet? You know, uh, all these batteries. They said, well, in 2035, they said automobiles, gasoline engines going to be obsolete. No, no more. So now, what is going to be the price with all these batteries, man? People's just sitting on top of all these batteries for hours and hours. What's the results of that? What's the effects of that on humans? The cells of our bodies. You don't care. Or people don't care. All they want to just ride. You might stop the uh, pollution one way, then you're doing something else another way. Have anybody thought about that? And man, these cars with no these self-driving cars. I just heard on the news today that I think they recalling over 350,000 uh, Tesla cars. There's something's wrong with the uh, steering for self-driving cars or something like that. Needs to be fixed. But man, you got all these self-driving cars out here on the highway, and you have some kind of one glitch, man, can screw up everything. They all them going along. One car make it have a wrong turn, and everything's gone. So it's a lot to consider when we're talking about moving into the future. I just think maybe we should slow down a little bit. You know, uh, just figure out a way that we can just uh, get past a lot of this stuff, man. Underground trains and things like this that for mass transportation. I mean, it's we just have to figure out other ways. It's just too many. Even today, I got back from New York, and never seen so many vehicles. Everywhere you turn, cars, 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 cars. I mean, and then between the cars and the buildings and the trash, it's crazy. Man. It's crazy. And that's another thing. Trash. Between the trash and the pollution, you know. So I think we need to clean this planet up, and we really need to pay attention to the life of the people and the value of life. Life is what puts value to everything. That's what puts value. The thing that whatever the food, clothing, shelter, the sustainability it has for life is what gives it value. Otherwise, who cares about it? And it seems like that's the one thing we don't care anything about, unless it's ours, unless it's the individual's life. People take other people's lives, but when their life is on the stake, oh man, it's all got a different game. But we need to look at everybody's life and look at life, period, as the most important thing it is on the planet. And we need to do more to protect it. Let that be the last thing you do, draw a gun and kill somebody. And there's a different thing if your life is threatened. That's one thing. But nowadays, with the crime rate and how crime is, and everywhere the movies and everything is just crime and shooting and killing. And, a lot of police are just, some of them are trigger happy. And I'm not justifying it, but I'm just trying to get at the cause. And beyond the fact that uh, Black lives seem not to matter, even amongst Black people. And we need to do better. I was listening to a radio station the other day, and they was talking about education. And I was tempted to call, but I didn't. Sometime I do. And when they talk about education, and it boils down to you have to get involved. You have to get involved in your child's education. And you have to also uh, make sure, you know, the teachers have what they need to teach your child. Make sure the teachers is qualified to teach your child. And I realize and the things that's necessary, the things that's really necessary to give your child a leg up in the future, put them on point as to what's happening. This is what has to be done. It's what you have to do. And you have to discipline your child to the point that they realize the value of education and what they need to do. Excuse me. All these gadgets, no. Uh-uh. The environment that your child is in is going to determine the results of your child in life. It has a big bearing on how your child is, how he's going to wind up. And put if if he's involved in uh, games and computers and stuff, then okay, have a computer unit in your school that these kids can go to. Have your schools geared so much to the point that your child can't wait to get to school and learn. You know what's important: reading, science, math. These things are important, and they should be first on the agenda. These kids can learn. They don't have to learn this like little baby stuff, seventh and eighth grade. They don't have to learn that little baby stuff. No, their young age is the most formative years of your children. You understand? If you put your child in a classroom or a school where there's a lot of crap, the child gonna come out crappy. Just that simple. So whose fault is it? Whose job is it to clean these schools up and see to it that these children are taught properly? Parents. And you can demand from these uh, uh, council people, demand from these mayors and people in the city that need your vote, demand from them to give you the school and the things that you need for your child to be educated properly. You have to pay attention and get involved in these things. I mean, at one time, I was, this going back quite a few years, and well, yeah, quite a few years. And I was the homeless school president, okay? Because I believe in getting involved, you know, and one other thing before I say what I gotta say, I want to say this. It's very, very important to have two parents in a household. Very important. Because you need that male and female representation in this child's life. And then you can't be in but one place. One parent, you can only be in one place at a time. Somebody has to be watching these children. And you cannot let let the television raise your children. cannot. And that's another thing. But that's another story for another day. But getting back, when I was home in school president, and from what I'm thinking, it was almost maybe 2,000 kids at the school. So if you just had one parent in the household, so just say you had at least 1,000 parents, and I had to call a home and school meeting. I was lucky. Now, okay, 2,000 students. So yeah, if one parent in the household, at least 1,000 parents. I was lucky if I got 10 parents at the home and school meeting. You hear what I said? 10. I was lucky if I got 10. But now if the child came to school and got in some trouble or something, the parent came in, wanted to turn the school out. Their child this, their child that, their child this. Nobody, nobody came to the. I'm not saying this is the situation now, but this was the situation 20, 30 years ago. I was there. You understand? So this is the problem. And see, and this is the problem that we're having. We're seeing a manifestation of that situation today. Because you need an education. These kids are getting frustrated. These young adults are frustrated when they can't find a job. It's bad enough to try and find a job when you're of color. Then you don't qualify. You can't get anything. You know, we've been deprived. It's tough, man. It's tough. I was watching this. I'm not. It's not funny. I was watching this. This white lady was giving a lecture, and this lecture was given to all whites, maybe 99%, 95% whites. And she asked the question. She asked them how many of them would want to be of color. Not one raised their hand. You know, we have a bad we have a bad reputation, and can't start if can't really. It doesn't stem from now. It stems from a lot of things. It stems from prejudice and racism and slavery, and but at times it comes a time when enough stuff is going past you. You need to we have to reach up and grab some of them and say, "Hey, look, this is where we are. We need to do this." And I think we have allowed too much stuff to slip past us that we should have reached up and grabbed. Because I look at a lot of people in other countries, even though as bad as things may have had it, but at least here in America, you have a chance to get something. The stuff here to be got, you handle, you have millions, billions, and billions of dollars into the economy. And you still can have that money in the economy, but you must use it in a positive, constructive way. You just can't spend and spend and spend and spend. A thing I heard someone say the other day, if you come to this country and you want to start a business, put it in the black community. We spend. And that's why you don't have anything. And the little bit that we do have is not even worth mentioning. You don't have to, and people talk about, oh, do stuff on your, you know what? This is a United States, and we need to realize that we have to work together. We all need to work together. We need to work together. If you have something, a lot of money, put your money together and contribute, you can have construction companies. I heard the other day, first time I ever heard this. That's a black man has a major construction company that's building some of these high buildings. I did not know that. In Philadelphia, I did not know that. Maybe it's my ignorance because all the ones I see, I never see that. But they are, or there is. So you're gonna tell me with all the money that's spent, you're gonna tell me that we can't start a corporation and even have other people, not just blacks, whites, Asians in this corporation, that we can build buildings that we can live and have moderate rentals, that we don't have to get charged out the wazoo for an apartment. You're gonna tell me we can't have schools or centers that teach our children how to act, teach our children how to eat when they go out, how to hold their forks, how to determine one taste of wine from another. Yes, we can do that. Why can't we have in our neighborhoods tables where we can sit outside in the summertime and draw people into our neighborhoods with our own cuisines and any other person that want to come in or any other type of chefs of food to be served. Nice gift shops. We can do that. You don't have to go downtown every time you need something, but you do now because you don't have it. Why can't we have nice restaurants in our neighborhood? Why? We can, but we have to focus on these things, people. We have to focus on. And once we start building and and you know what and get some respect and start working together, educating our kids, getting lawyers and doctors and scientists, people will think twice before they pull a trigger on us. That's right. Reputation. You'll get respect. But to get respect, you have to be respectable. And that's just the way it is. And we just can't look at us as a means to a dollar. We have to help one another. That's missing. That is missing. That's why I created, I'm the owner, I'm the CEO and president of a nonprofit organization to help people. Interior painting and design. I help people. It doesn't take a lot to come in a person's apartment or living space or home and paint it and make it look nice. You'd be surprised. That can give you a whole new feel on life, make you feel good about yourself. Your surroundings is very, very important. I do this myself. I'm working on it. It's new. I spend what little money I can. If I work and make a little money, I put it into this nonprofit. You come out and help people. And that's a fact. I do it free. If they don't have money, I do it free. If they can pay, they can add a little. Just I ask them to donate to the nonprofit. Not even saying how much, whatever you can afford. Because hopefully this is the beginning. This is the beginning of something huge that I have in mind. And also, it's a way of giving back. It gives me a purpose to live And what better purpose to live than to live for humanity? Because I'm tired, man. I'm tired of this. You get somebody to come in your house and they want to charge you $2,000 and they stay in your house 5 minutes, half an hour. I'm not saying this with all of them, but it's a lot of thieves out here, man. Because I've had them happen to me. Because you don't know. You don't know. And we have got the only way you're gonna do something about this. It didn't used to be like this. It used to be you hired a person to come in and do your work. He'd give you a price. You know he's giving you an honest price. You know he's gonna give you a good day's work, and the job is gonna be done right. That's how it was done back in the day. Not today, you know. And I guess some of the politicians they probably always been stealing. But I'm talking about the people in the hood in your neighborhood that 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 was contractors. That's what they did. That's what they did. But today, mm-mm. Now pay them. Mm-mm. Now they come in right away. They want $1,000 for something they don't even know what they're doing yet. You know, you can come in. It all depends. If you need something, if you emergency for something, oh, they're gonna charge you 3 times for the same thing. If you just call me to do this, but if you really need them to do it, charge you 3 times. Why? You're doing the same thing. It's terrible. It is terrible. So now what happened? You don't know who to trust. People don't rip so many people off. I'm telling you, you don't know who to trust. I had ins- I had a life insurance policy, and when it came out the COVID, they said that seniors are more apt to get sick and die than anyone else. My insurance company canceled me. No, I'm telling you the truth. You know, tried to call the lawyer to see what sent me a certified letter back. So we can't touch that. So that was the end of that. But it's just that everybody looks out for themselves. So people, we have to look out for ourselves, but yet be a part of the mainstream of what's taking place in this country. And it's really it's really looked like to me, you know, London Bridge is falling down because all these crooks being exposed, everywhere you turn. People are waking up. I'm talking to people now, and more people are being positive. More people are loving themselves. More people are kind of breaking away from the uh, norm of being controlled or a norm way of thinking. They're breaking away from that. And I see it. I really do see it. And it's a good feeling. There's no better feeling that I have felt than being around and being in the midst of good people. And it has nothing to do with color. It's good people, you know. And it can be like that. It can be like that. But I've never seen a time since I've been living it that there's been peace throughout the world. Never. You know. A lot of these wars can be prevented. Earthquakes can't. Well, maybe they can, but over time. But it's not like a war that you can sit down at a table and work things out before you got to start killing and destroying people and things. So, at the end of the day, we are at the bottom of everything that's happening. And we're destroying our own planet. We have destroyed it. Water. Oh my goodness. Water looks like mud that we're drinking. and that's drying up. So we have got to change, and the time for all this talking and all these different. I mean, it's a lot of programs, which I'm sure they're good, but you know what? All the programs have been happening up until now. Then it's time to we got to put some more muscle into this thing. We got to start working together on a large scale. We can't let people come into our neighborhoods, our cities, our uh, suburban or outer cities, whatever you want to call it, and start developing. So once they start developing and buy, they own it. And once they own it, they own it. And as time goes on, it's going to get more and more valuable. I'm telling you. And they're not building it for the low income. These things are not being built for the low income. And even what's being built for the low income do not own it. You understand? You're just keeping it for them when they're making money until it's time to get rid of you. So it's a lot to think about. Last time I made a podcast and I tried to play it back, there was no sound. I thought I checked it, so I thought I checked this one too, but we'll see. But anyway, y'all, thank y'all so much for listening, and have a wonderful, wonderful evening. And thank you very much.